Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn and this is pretty cool. I saw this as it was a short video. I don't know if it was on Instagram or Facebook now that I think about it. It might have been Facebook. But unfortunately, I didn't pay attention to the artist who posted it originally, so I can't credit the person or creator where I first saw this. But basically, what they did was they used strips of washi and taped the washi right over. In that case, I don't know if it was a printed image or a stamped image or what, but they had gorgeous images of women in these like really beautiful dresses, and just like it kind of looked just like Flora Fairy here, which is an illustration by Meg. So it was an outline drawing just as you see it here, and they did what I am trying to do for the first time, and it turned out really well, so that's why you're seeing this video. But basically they used strips of washi as a way of coloring in and essentially being the fabric for the dresses. And then once they laid on the various strips of washi, then they colored over top. And off the top of my head now, I can't remember if they colored with marker, alcohol marker, or something else, but they colored over top of it to add some shading and add some depth, which I thought was just brilliant. The whole effect of it looked fabulous. So I'm giving it a go, and I used this dark strip of washi tape, and I couldn't see the line anymore. So I do have this, it's sort of a light box, I guess. And it's for things like this where you have a design, well, not for things like this, because you need to be careful that you're not actually cutting into your your light box. But it's meant more for when you're trying to trace something. So you would maybe print out a design, and if I wanted to duplicate her, but maybe I wanted to trace her onto some vellum or something, then I can use the light box to shine through so that I can see through the paper, see the line through the paper, and then trace right over it. Well, I'm using it much in the same way so that I can actually throw some light behind the paper, which this is a nice cardstock. It's about 100-pound cardstock. And I'm cutting very, very light pressure because washi tape is very thin, so you don't need a lot of pressure to cut through the washi. So I'm pretty confident that I'm not going to cut through my paper and scratch up my light box, but I'm also trying to be careful not to even put too much pressure, because I don't want to ruin my light box in any way. But without it makes using these dark washi tape designs kind of hard to achieve this effect, because it's very, very, I mean, it was kind of impossible to see the line, and all I'm doing is I'm just cutting right on the line of the printed illustration. So this is a lot of fun, especially since I have these gorgeous washi tapes from High Supply, and you can see just like a little bit of it off to the side there, where there's these two full sets. I mean, these boxes of washi tape are really fabulous collections, and they have these really gorgeous, very ornate and very rich designs that are kind of like a little bit Asian inspired, and so it was pretty cool getting to play with these. And I kind of want to pull out some more washi and just see, because you don't need too much of it. So each of these designs, there's quite a lot of unique design before it starts to repeat. So even using the same roll, I could have maybe picked a different area and achieved a different look. And this was a little bit challenging to do, but I knew that I don't really need to be perfect. I just need to be kind of close. I did find, just like if you were to fussy cut with scissors, it was easier to actually turn my paper as I was cutting than to turn my X-Acto knife or my craft knife. So so that did make it a little bit easier, but it can be a little bit challenging. I will definitely grant that this is a lot of tedious work, especially because I'm not a fan of fussy cutting in the first place. And so cutting with a craft knife or an X-Acto knife with precision was even more tedious than normal fussy cutting would normally be, but well worth it, because check that out. It's so much fun. So once I get this done, I'm gonna color Flora here in with a combination of alcohol markers, and I'm gonna bring in my colored pencils as well. So you might be wondering, well, where can you get Flora? Flora is beautifully illustrated by Meg, who has come onto Crafty Fun with Friends, my Saturday live streams, pretty often. And Meg and I host Coloring with Meg, a coloring class that is really fabulous. So the classes are always available. So the handful or few ones that we've done so far are still available. And the next one coming up is this one right here. And Meg's going to teach us how to actually color the whole image with alcohol markers. And she's going to teach some advanced techniques for using your colorless blender. So I'm really excited for that. I thought I would maybe do a little bit of coloring of Flora as a bit of a before. I really like to color along with Meg as she's teaching, and that's the whole idea behind our Coloring with Meg classes, because they are live, aired live. So it's as if you're attending a coloring class. So you can color right alongside live with us. You can learn right alongside me. Meg teaches it live, which means that I can ask questions of Meg. And if you're watching when this class initially airs, you can be in the live chat and you can ask questions as well. And we also have a Coloring with Meg Facebook group that's private just to enrolled students who have registered for Coloring with Meg classes. And when we have these live color alongs, there you have the ability, if you are coloring along, to post your work in progress. And if you want feedback, or you have specific questions of Meg, she can actually look at what you've colored and give you feedback if that's what you want. Or you can just share just for sharing, because sometimes it's nice to just kind of share where you're at with on your coloring journey, and it's helpful for others to see where everybody is at, because we're all at a different place. Some of us have taken actual art classes, some of us have taken none and just color for fun. That's me. And so it's not so that we can compare to one another, but so that we can encourage one another to continue on our coloring journey, and to share our progress as we learn and as we discover new things that Meg is teaching us. So this this lovely fairy is also available as a digital download. So if you want, if you're not interested in the coloring class, you can actually pick up Flora as a digital download. She comes as a transparent PNG, so the background surrounding her is all transparent, and that way you can kind of build her into scenes easily if you'd like. And there's two versions. There's one that's kind of how you saw it printed initially. It's just the outline. And then there's a second version that's pre-colored by Meg herself. So you have both versions available to you. Sometimes it's kind of nice to work with pre-colored digital images and just save yourself some time. But it's a lot of fun to color as well. And so that's available as two different options for you. But if you do enroll in the Coloring with Meg class, then you actually get both digital downloads. You get the outline or the black and white digital download, as well as the fully pre-colored digital download. So they come included with the Coloring with Meg class if that's what you're interested in. So that's where you can pick up Flora here. And in terms of the washi that I used, that's from High Supply. And there are some really gorgeous washi sheets. And I think I might try a washi sheet next time because, there's a really beautiful one that's, I think it's, I don't want to butcher the name of it, but it's perfect for wedding cards, and it would be great for a wedding dress. So I might try that out on this fairy as well. I like this scale. She's rather large. You can kind of see how large she is compared to my hand here. So she wouldn't necessarily fit onto, say, a card, but she's fun to color up and to try these fun techniques with. And High Supply has so many different washi options, because you can get the tapes, washi tape, which you're probably very familiar with, but they also sell, and I feel like they're the only place I've ever seen this before, but they also sell 6x6 adhesive backed washi sheets. So you know how you can get 6x6 pattern papers, right? So these are 6x6 in size, but they are washi. So they have a little bit of that transparency to them, and they have some of that same sort of silky feel that washi tends to have, and it's fully adhesive backed. So that would be really great to use on this too. And what makes me kind of curious is I think I want to try this for next time, where maybe what I'll do is gray tone color where I know I want to put washi. So I'll put some grays and some shadows where the shadowing would be. And then I'm wondering if I then laid the washi on top, because washi is a little bit transparent, and you're layering it over top, some parts that are, white, and then some parts that have been shaded in with grays and blacks. I wonder if that would be an interesting way of getting shadows, because what I found is, like as I was talking about that silky texture of the washi, the color pencil work that I'm doing, some of it's directly over the washi, just like a smidge on the red portion, because the black is so dark anyways, I couldn't really add more shadow to that. But I tried to add a little bit of shadow to the red, and you can kind of see it. It's subtle, but you can see it. But I kind of wonder if that's going to actually rub off, because it's color pencil has a lot of wax in it. And so it's just wax on top of something that's got a very slick, silky texture to it in the washi. But I'm wondering if I did alcohol marker coloring first to lay down my shadows, and then I laid the washi over, would that pick up on the shadows? So I'm going to try that next. and maybe use some lighter washi tape and see how that goes. But I had a lot of fun coloring Flora up, and I am using my Copics to do the coloring, which I mostly have a pretty broad range of skin tones in my Copics, because I feel like that's where I really like to try to get really good shading and everything. And so I've invested in to the skin tone Copics, especially since in my Ohuhu markers I feel like their range isn't quite as deep. Then again, I don't really have all of the Ohuhu markers, but I decided to use my Copics in this case because mostly all I had left to color was her skin and hair. And so that turned out really well. I did leave some of the sort of that teal color. I put some teal streaks, some teal highlights into her hair. I thought that was kind of fun. And for her wings, I decided to go with yellow, and I happen to have this very, it's almost like a neon yellow in my Copic here. And I wanted to add some texture, some detail to the wings. I didn't know exactly what, but I pulled out my gold metallic color pencil, and you can't hardly see any of what I'm doing right now, but basically all I'm doing is just drawing in some veins into her wings, and then I just colored or drew right over those lines with my Copic marker. And it helps to kind of smooth it out a little bit. It helps to add some shadow to it because it's the exact same yellow marker, but because alcohol markers are transparent, they can layer. And I tried to go very light on that first wash of color. So when I color in these veins, it still darkens it a little bit, and I think it helped that there's some color pencil behind there, so it helps to kind of bring that out also. And the last thing that I'll do is there were some areas that when I cut the washi, I was not quite on the line or over the line. I was actually inside the line, so there's like a little bit of white showing. I decided to go back in with a black fine line pen and just touch that up a little bit so that I can really define that black line. And that's going to be it for this. I had a lot of fun playing with this technique. It was new to me. It's not going to be the last time I do it for sure, because it was a lot of fun and really fast, because look how cool you can like I would never be able to color something like that pattern for her her little top and skirt. So I had a blast with this. It was pretty cool. Tedious for sure, but a lot of fun to do, and I think the results are kind of neat. So that's my video for today. I'll leave links to the Coloring with Meg class if you're interested, and I'll leave links to the washi tapes that you can find on High Supply. Thanks so much for catching my video today, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fabulous day. Bye.